wonder why there's a lot of overly abbreviated words in video games? Ever read anime subtitles and think, something's missing? I'm a translator and I know why that is. So if you've stumbled upon this video randomly via the almighty algorithm, I am Sarah, an anime and game translator, and I talk about that sort of thing on this channel. And I just wanted to do a quick little video touching on something I haven't really brought it up before, and I've been struggling with it a lot recently with a project that I'm working on, and that is word counts. So if you are a translator of tech or medical or non-entertainment stuff, you probably don't have to deal with this. But as a translator of strictly entertainment material, I have to deal with this almost all the time. And that is character limitations is what they're called. So the reason why I'm sometimes restricted on how many characters I get to use in my translated sentence is because in subtitled anime, they need to make sure that the line of text isn't too long for somebody to read during the seconds that the character is speaking. For those of you who've seen Wayne's World, so it's not like that scene when Cassandra and Wayne are having the conversation and he says like, in the fake Cantonese, and they both just sit there for like 20 seconds and wait for this long stream of subtitles to go through. In anime, you don't have that lag time to like have your super long subtitle. And then in games, if you ever see like a bunch of abbreviated words that don't seem like they should be abbreviated, it's because we have to fit this text. They've decided, okay, we want the text to be this certain font size and it has to fit into this certain box that's a certain size. So they give you a limit. It'll usually be like, one line at, 45 characters or 3 lines, each one being 45 characters. And sometimes these character limitations are extremely unreasonable. Like one time I had to translate something that even if I was really abbreviating everything, it would have been like 15 characters at least. And I had to do it in 4 characters. It's just literally impossible. So a reason why that this is so challenging to adhere to the character limits that were in existence for the Japanese version is that the Japanese language, being syllabic, their character for ku, for example, if I were to write that out in Roman script, it would be 2 characters, K and U. But if I'm writing that out in Japanese hiragana, it's 1 character, just ku, the character ku. Japanese language also doesn't use spaces. And the spaces in my character count are counted as a character. So and then think about kanji, like the word otoko. It is 3 hiragana characters, and if I were to write it out in Romaji, it would be 5 characters, O-T-O-K-O, 5. But in the original Japanese, if I write it with kanji, it's just 1 character. So as you can see, if the original limit was, 1 character, for man, and they can easily do that in Japanese, I cannot possibly do that. The best I could do in a translation for man would be just a capital M, because oftentimes that does denote male versus F female. But as you can see, it can be somewhat limiting. It's not as big an issue with anime subtitles because generally speaking, Japanese words have more syllables than English words, so it takes a little bit longer to say things in Japanese than it does in English. So unless a character is speaking really super quickly, I usually don't run into this problem as much when I subtitle anime, but with games it really can be a challenge sometimes trying to fit in everything in such a small character count. And often I have to flat out omit certain words. I have to look at the sentence and see which words are less important and just cut them out. Maybe if a character is talking about the clear blue sky, is it really important that it's a clear and blue sky? No, it could just be a blue sky or it could just be a clear sky. If my character limit means that I can't say that it's a clear blue sky, I have to decide, am I going to say it's a clear sky or a blue sky? Sometimes the character limit is such that I can't even say it is a clear or blue sky. I have to just say it's a sky. Or maybe the original Japanese sentence was, there was not a cloud in the clear blue sky, but I have to do it in so few characters that I have to say something like, the weather was lovely. I just have to reword the whole thing so that it is much fewer characters. So the game I'm working on right now, I do have to deal with that. And sometimes I also have to abbreviate words so that I won't go over my character limit. Words like attack or defense. And the cool thing is, like most video games, those are like regularly abbreviated. You'll go ATK for attack, DEF for defense. So that's okay, but sometimes I wind up having to abbreviate words that aren't like game lingo words. And I like to avoid that if ever possible, because it's just really weird to be reading a story and you see a random word abbreviated for no reason. But sometimes I have no choice but to do that because of character limitations. So the moral of the story is, if you're ever watching an anime or playing a game and the wording seems a little abrupt or short sometimes, or words that shouldn't be abbreviated are abbreviated and you're wondering why, that's probably why. Not because the translator sucks or anything, but because she was dealing with word count limitations. Just wanted to quickly rant about that to the internet and show off my new brownish reddish hair. Bye! Like the word, what's a good example? How good examples? And if I were to write it out in English lettering in Romaji, it would be 6 characters. O-T, 5.